Welcome to our second edition of Rock Talk. I'm John Fitzgerald. Tonight on Rock Talk, Barry Fay will be talking with Herb New from KBPI Radio, Tommy Bolin, formerly of the James Gang, currently with Deep Purple, Dave Brown, and also a special guest, Tim Weisberg. And we'll begin with tonight's edition of Rock Talk right after this.
Must be a record guy.
What did you do?
Has to be somebody from a record company to laugh on cue.
Thanks, Larry.
Oh, Larry Green from A&M? Fine cat, man, except when you need him. Never around.
Tommy, what did you do in Munich?
No, well, I just did, be quiet, man. I'm the host here.
He's Barry asked Tommy what he did.
Tommy, what did you do in Munich? Should we go on to Shush? What are we going to talk about?
Yes, he's the host, right?
I guess that's what they say. I get paid more than you.
And he answers for me. No, I did an album with Deep Purple, which took about a month. It'll be out in October.
Really? October 25th.
And I also did another one that was mine, which will be out. Ask the host. I don't know.
Is that before or after?
October sometime.
Well, I think Purple is coming out November 8th, and yours is coming out October 25th.
See? If I come on these shows, the host knows more than I do.
Well, only when the host happens to be so closely tied to you. It is really fun being closely tied to Tommy Bolin, because it's really not.
It's the gold thread.
Really?
Yeah.
That just holds them together.
Right.
Well, Tim, what do you think of being close to Tommy Bolin? This is as close as you've ever been in your life?
I was wearing a dress playing a flute in high school.
It was terrible.
The dress never fit.
That dress never fit.
I mean, did you play in a band, like a football game sometimes?
Yeah, I started in junior high school and half-times, rose parades, marching behind horses and things.
Oh, so you were in California then?
Yeah.
So you didn't need gloves on when you played the flute?
No, definitely didn't need gloves, except for one rose parade. It was almost freezing. But
I remember that about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was really cold in the morning.
That's where I've seen you before.
Yes, right. It stood right out. They did that close-up. It came right in on me. The kid with the white buck shoes and the baggy pants.
In fact, it was so cold that morning, I put on a robe, I believe, in front of the TV. Yeah. That's right. I usually watch the Rose Parade in my underwear. It's a traditional thing. But that year, it was quite chilly, I remember. They had frozen roses.
That's right. They did. But that's how I got started. That's the type of playing I did.
Well, I first met you, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And it was the same time as Alice Cooper was in town.
That's right.
And I was introduced to you by Chuck Morris, which usually is foreboding, but this time it worked out. We had a lot of fun, and you came out to the house, and Alice Cooper was there, the Ebbets Field people were there.
Right.
And Tim, we had football, basketball, barbecue. Oh, my God, it was a great day.
We had a good time.
Yeah. That was the afternoon of the Alice Cooper Fay-Line basketball game.
That's right.
the softball game down at the schoolyard.
That's right.
How about the Leslie Westbury Fay football game?
No, that happened a long time before that. We had just moved into our house, and it's a funny thing, our situation with our neighbors where we live, they thought I was the caretaker for the first 6 or 8 weeks, getting the house ready for Mr. Fay. So, and they didn't pay much attention. They said, well, here's this guy. He dresses pretty sloppy, but I guess he'll only be around until the lawn is kept up, right? So, one Sunday, Mountain had been in town the Saturday night before that. Leslie West and Gary Kurfürst and Felix Pappalardi came out to the house. And we went out on the lawn, and I guess Leslie weighed about 320, and I weighed about 306. And they weren't sure. Then they thought maybe it was the Broncos training camps for fatties or something. And we've had some good games out there, and it's funny how the neighbors react. The kids love it, and the other people say, well, they inspect it and say, well, the weeds are too high this year, or whatever it is. But it's fun living out. It was a good day, I remember that. So that's been 2 years since then.
Yeah,
You've really come a long way.
Things have moved along, yeah. That was the first time we played in Denver, and it's gone well.
Yeah, I've managed to digress in that period of time.
I hear you're on the way back.
I hope so. That's what the Billboard magazine said, that he's back in huffing and puffing again. Tommy is...
helping him huff and puff.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about some of the material on your album.
On my album, I used...
Well, can we take a vote on that? Would you like to hear about the material?
Is he the host?
Yeah, he's the host.
Now I've become the host.
No, I used on my album, I used like... a lot of people you probably know I used... It's very varied from like... very varied, is that...
Sure. Quite varied.
It's quite varied. From like very hard rock to some jazz type stuff. that I used like Lenny Weiss with Chick Corea and Airto and Dave Sanborn and Michael Brecker.
Did you stretch out quite a bit, or is it?
Yeah.
No, that's far out.
Yeah. In fact, I used to get fired around these joints around here, for playing instrumentals, all the time.
Yeah, I know what.
Now they want me to go back and do more, so I'm going to finish the album at the end of the month and then go and mix it in London.
Do you have some blues numbers on it?
There's like, it's like rock blues.
So I would like to say at this point, I've always been behind you doing more instrumentals. No, I was really against it. But the instrumentals on his album, it's going to be a new concept, like half rock and roll, and on the other side of the album, there's things like you did with Billy Cobham on the Spectrum album. Which is a million.
Not like crazy jazz stuff, but very rhythmic
with melodic at the same time. I get the stuff that doesn't have melodic things in it. It spaces me out.
These have very good themes to them. You can really go around singing.
The basic start was just, like the instrumental, just basic start with themes, and then I just let the players that I just let them blow their cookies for a little while, and then we go back to the theme.
That's good. If you have a good theme to start from, then it's a good place to take off from. That's what we try and do too, rather than just, great, let's jam for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and put down what comes out.
Yeah, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's no good. So.
Well, there's bands that can do that are consistent at doing that, like 90% of the time.
Boy, that 10% though.
Yeah.
It's really tough. It's rare.
But the 90%, though, you can maybe learn from.
Oh, for sure. No doubt about it.
So that's like But you said you still have your same band?
Yeah.
When I saw you at the Troubadour, it's 4, 5, 6, 7...
Not years ago. Months. The last time we played the Troupe was right around Christmas. Second week in December. So we're going to go back there. We got to go play there in about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Great band.
What label is the album coming out on?
Well, mine's on Emperor, which is a off-branch from Atlantic, and Purple's is on Purple Records, which is an off-branch of Warner's. So I'm on 2 record labels.
Is Purple coming to Denver in the near future?
In next year.
Oh, they hope to tour in January '75 to start the tour of America. 76 to start. It's a funny thing about rock, and you see us, we're all up here, and I've battled it for years, that people who are involved, locally or nationally, in rock and roll, they seem to have some special aura about them, and it's not true. I've tried to combat it. I spend as much time as possible on the streets of Denver, and as artists, of course, you're in town you don't do the weekly gigs like Tim does, but very seldom do you really get to know anybody. And you want to try and push the human side of rock, anybody involved in it, because you got to admit that the same, but they just happen to be in a different profession, which I'm trying to lead up to something that I wanted to ask Tim about, so maybe the people out there could understand some of the what you call ethics or human side of rock and roll. I talked to Chuck Morris at Ebbets Field the other day, and he was upset. You see, if I give us some background, in rock music, in the concert field, if you play an act early in their career and you do well by them and they do well by you, your growth is somewhat synonymous with theirs. If they get big, you do them again, and hopefully you'll do better, and everybody will do better. Now, as I said, when I first met Tim, he was playing at Ebbets Field 2 years ago. And I think you played for Chuck at Tulagi's before that. Is that right?
No, that was the first time.
The first time was
played
at Ebbets Field.
Since then, 3 times. I think we played Ebbets Field 4 times.
You've done a total of 4 gigs. Now, and this time you're at the Warehouse with John Stewart, is that correct?
Correct.
And Chuck seemed quite... I'd like to get your side of it, because he was quite upset that you were playing another club. Now, he has never objected to an act going from Ebbets Field to a concert. Leonard Skinner, Marshall Tucker, we have the Outlaws coming next month. They were just in Ebbets Field. He has no objection, but he says, if you're going to play a club, you should play the club that you started with. Now, is that correct, or is it an economic thing, or is it a career move? Is it a management decision, agency decision? I'd like to hear from you if you don't mind talking about it.
No, I don't at all. Because the way I got my career started, I used to hustle and do everything myself. People, a flute player who doesn't sing, playing something that's akin to rock and roll, they thought I was nuts. And so I had to get a lot of people the first time around to help me, and it was a matter of give and take. Somebody would give me a shot, like a Chuck Morris, and then I wouldn't forget about him and then jump to the other side of the tracks. And I still have people in my career that have given me chances all along the way that I remember. The one problem in this case, well, the first time we came, it was nice. We played with Taj Mahal, and we were of the stature that I had to drive the van with the equipment myself, and I flew the band here because there wasn't enough money to do it any other way. I drove to Kansas City. I drove back. In fact, that's when I got all my flute stolen. I came back to town for a couple
in front of the hotel, right?
Right. And the thing that has made it difficult is every time I've played, every one of those 4 times, I've lost money. Me personally, not a manager.
Oh, I see.
Not a manager who fronted me or anybody else. I literally, when I left town, I lost money. It
cost
cost
money
me
when you came.
My band got paid because I never work with musicians without them getting paid what they're supposed to get paid. I took a bath, is what it boiled down to. And I figured after 4 times, the offer from the warehouse was very generous, and it meant that I will, when I go up to Aspen and spend a couple of days, it'll actually be, a couple of quarters. Yeah, I'll actually make some money. And Chuck had the opportunity. The agency discussed it with him, told him what the offer was, and there was no counteroffer that was even close. And when you figure 4 times, I mean, how many times can you keep doing it?
You appreciated the first time, and you paid it back with 3 subsequent.
That's
each
right.
time you lost money.
That's right.
But you see, now there's always 2 sides to it, and that's a very realistic thing. How long can you keep it up? I mean, was he given the choice of doing you like in a small concert?
Yes,
he was.
And the offer for the concert was less than I was getting for concerts 2 years ago. I mean, it was very small. And I like the people at Ebbets Field, and I think Ebbets Field helped me start to gain some popularity. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But I couldn't continue to go on and continue to lose that way.
Do you think there's a lot of a different crowd between Ebbets and the warehouse?
Before you answer that question,
sure.
It's time for a commercial, so
okay, I'll
we'll
come
be
back
right
and
back.
answer it. Yeah, I think the question before we stopped was...
Are the crowds different?
The crowd's different. There is. One of the things is we're co-billed with Jon Stewart. And the first night there were people in there with cowboy hats on, which I don't normally see at shows that I do. And I think the demographics, I'm seeing people in suits and ties. I'm seeing people that I saw at Ebbets. I'm seeing people that I saw at concerts like up at Fort Collins at the college there, up in Greeley. And so the demographics is much, much wider. I think.
Yeah, I thought it would be.
And it's really interesting. I kind of enjoy reaching that wider segment. It's kind of fun from that standpoint.
Well, you have that. That was a very good explanation you just gave, and it makes sense. You have that side to this business. I'm going through somewhat the same thing, but on a very friendly level with Mick Fleetwood of Fleetwood Mac. The first time I played Fleetwood Mac was in December 1969, when they still had Peter Green. It was on our Christmas show. And I've had him 5 times since then. We developed a nice relationship. So a year and a half ago on the Uriah Heep show, when 5 guys came in and said they were Fleetwood Mac, and I said, well, wait a minute, you're not the Fleetwood Mac that I've seen for a lot of years. And they said, well, we're the Fleetwood Mac. Apparently, the manager of Fleetwood Mac had kept the name.
Ah, yes, and put a
said
whole
over
thing.
5 phonies, right? So they said, we're playing. I said, the only way you're getting in this hall tonight is if you go out and buy tickets. And the show is sold out, so you are no tickets, so get the blank out of here. And I was the only promoter in the country, apparently, who just wouldn't permit them even to go in the hall. And Mick really appreciated that, called me from London, wrote me letters. Now this time, Mick is coming here on a show that I'm not promoting. It was the Rod Stewart show, which I should have been promoting. I went to Europe, and all of a sudden tickets went on sale, which was groovy, because if that's what the other promoters want to do, let them do it.
They deny it.
They can deny anything they like, but I mean, I was in Europe and tickets went on sale. I knew nothing about it. But Mick Fleetwood had a choice. He could either play Denver for another promoter, but the same promoters were also giving him San Diego, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And they said, you get off the Denver date, then we won't give you the other dates. Mick called me and I said, hey, I'm not going to ask you to miss L.A. and San Francisco on this tour, because he's supposed to be really dynamite. I mean, he's a good man. Go out and do it. He said, Barry, you know I'll always play for you. I said, Mick, you don't even have to say it. And that's the kind of relationships you like to have. You can't always have your own way in this business.
Well, there's a promoter in Boston, and it's surprising, we do good in college markets, but in Boston, which is the monster market, we have not been able to really crack it well. And it's been 4 years since I played there. I played once on the bill with the Butterfield Blues Band.
Did you play the Tea Party?
No, we played the Fenway Theater, which they tore down, thank God. But there was a promoter there who decided to put me on. I think knew that he would probably not even break even, but wanted to do it. Well, we're going to be going back there. And he's the type of guy, I mean, I want to go back and make money for him. He's the type of person, I told my agent, I said, I don't care who. Now there's a couple of offers.
Yeah.
I said, I'm playing for him. He gave me a shot, and he took a bath on it, and I want to make some money for him. And you remember things like that.
Where are those days where the guys really conscientiously were into the music of the people they brought in?
Like when I was in Zephyr, we used to tour around, you know. I mean, it was like when Jethro Tull was just coming out, and what other groups? 10 years after, you know, and they were all like back then, like especially, you know, Ian Anderson, who was then a gentleman. I really respected him, a good friend. That is now I can't relate
now
to.
The
him.
industry is being run by accountants.
Well, there's no fun anymore in this business.
Yes, it's really all gotten down to
very rarely do you
there's
get
a lot of money to be made, you know. And
I want to
that.
sort of change the subject a little bit before we run out of time. I work at KBPI, in case you didn't hear John when he opened the show, but we came up with a little KBPI wristwatch for you, Barry. I've known Barry since Freeform Radio began here in Denver. And 7 years. And that's a $70 wristwatch, so we've known each other for...
They must have got it from Rocco Carter, too.
That's really nice.
It's a beautiful watch.
I bought Tommy a watch for his birthday. He was a very distinguished gentleman on the corner of 56th and Park Avenue in New York. And I call it Cartier, but his real name was Carter.
Make it sparkle on the camera.
This is a very nice watch. What do you do, raise the spots now $1 a piece? No, I really appreciate that. That's a very nice thing to do. See, and you said no one liked me.
Well, so I was wrong once.
Well, that's really nice, sir. I appreciate it.
Why don't you talk about your days when you first... I don't know if you did on the last show or not. When you got started with Baby Huey and everything else. That's a great story.
Baby Huey and the Babysitters?
Yeah. And
well, I was naturally taken to him because... well, no, I was going to make a joke saying he was fatter than I was. But at the time I met Baby Huey, which was 1965, I wasn't very fat. And he was playing in a group called Baby Huey and the Babysitters, and they were playing a club called Thumbs Up in Chicago. And I used to go in and sit there. I wasn't into music. I wasn't in any music, not any business. I was in the business of eating at lunch and eating at dinner and hanging around the rest of the time and trying to figure out how I was going to eat the next meal. And I used to go in there, and I got to be friendly. The main thing was so I could go in without paying. And then I moved to Rockford, Illinois. But Baby Huey, you know, since I think 3 years ago, he's dead. Mm-hmm. He died, and he never made it. He should have made it. I don't know. It's just one of those things. And people ask me all the time, what does it take to make it? I don't know the right ingredients, Timmy. I mean, God bless Tommy. He's now going to make it. He struggled. He lived in the back of a van. No, it's not funny.
No,
I mean,
it wasn't funny.
It's tough when you can't eat. It's tough when you can't eat.
You don't know you're going to be making it. Well, you say, maybe I shouldn't be in the back of the van.
Like
maybe
we're discussing
crazy.
figures of, like, you know, I just...
We watched...
laugh, you know. I can't relate.
I think there's a very close parallel between musicians and very devoted DJs, guys like Ashford.
Oh, yeah.
And Barry was a very big factor in progressive radio here in Denver when he came in. In fact, if it wasn't without his bucks.
Well, I've tried to do it everywhere. I mean, every city, though, I mean, if there was an FM starting to take off, I would go against the big AM and have faith that the FM was where the music eventually would be. And it's made a lot of friends.
And,
I mean, it really has.
A lot of guys in the radio end have starved for the format, for their music, and so forth, as well as a lot of musicians have done it. Everybody has paid some dues for this music. And it's pretty interesting. And then today we see where it's becoming something that we can't necessarily control. It's pure business.
Right.
And it doesn't take too much.
Plus, after so many years, like, you know, getting ripped off for thousands, that thousands that was in your pocket that you couldn't, if it was given to you, you couldn't relate to it. And now realizing that, man, if I would have had that money back then, if that cat wouldn't have stolen from me, or just because there's like 3 managers that got me really bad. He knows who they are. You know?
Yeah, they did him in. One did it for about $60,000. He couldn't afford to go out and buy a meal, and they stole $60,000 from him. It's quite an interesting contrast up here. We have Tim, whose career is just really burgeoning now. Herb, you've been around a long time. I'm not to be dramatic, but in the twilight. And we have Tommy, who's really now going to start to roll. And it's a funny thing. Dave over there has been Tommy's friend for how many years?
Yes.
I mean, when Tommy bought a Big Mac, Dave got half. I mean, that's the way it was. If Dave had money, Tommy got half. And it was beautiful. And now these two people are just going to start in the wonderment of the big money. And and God bless them, but like I say, but it's a funny thing. There's room for everybody. Some of us are scrapping to get out, and some of us are scrapping to get in. It's like a door. Everybody's pushing, right? But one's pushing this way and one's pushing that way. No one gets anywhere. I have a lot of friends in the acts and the managers and even the radio people. I'm kind of starting to work on the record people. That's the only industry that as a whole totally despises me. And,
how much time do we have?
And I hope about a minute. And when he goes like this, it's a half a minute.
Half a minute? Okay.
It looks like he's doing an underarm commercial, but it means it's a half a minute.
Well, by the way, everybody tune in for the new KBPI underarm commercials.
Really, what is that?
Can I show the KBPI?
Trying to get a plug in.
Listen, I have this.
What time is
Can I get a
the
close-up on this one?
I'm supposed to endorse these tennis shoes because I've been wearing them every day for 7 months.
Thanks to Cinderella Furniture.
What is that?
No, I'm wearing 2 different
Hey, this is a lot of fun to do that with such older guys.
Older guys.
But we have here, like I say, I think there's room for everybody in it, but it doesn't mean a thing without the people out there who watch. If they stop watching, everybody in it, but it doesn't mean a thing without the people out there who watch. If they stop watching, we're all out of work. It's a nice way to end the show.
Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. If you did tune in, good night, everyone.
The following interview with Tommy Bolin took place by telephone on September 14, 1976. Tommy was just beginning his first full-fledged solo tour after the breakup of Deep Purple to promote his new album, Private Eyes. The young and somewhat nervous correspondent interviewing Tommy is me. My name is Art Connor.
Hold on, please. This is Gary Hart calling with Tommy Bolin. Hold on.
Hello?
How you doing?
Great. I'll see you later, man. Bye-bye. How are you?
All right. This is before the drummer. I think you talked to David Frick a couple months back.
Oh, that's right. With David, yeah.
Yeah. He let me handle this one.
Great.
Okay.
I hope.
All right. Want to talk about your new album here? I just got a copy of it.
Sure.
One question. That Mark Stein, did he play for Vanilla Fudge?
Yeah, he did. With, I guess he was one of the original...
Carmen Appice and Tim Bogart.
Yeah.
Caught that around here.
And Vinny, I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, on guitar.
Yeah.
That's far out. Where'd you get the band for this? This is a really tight band.
Well, for Private Eyes, I got,
They're not the same people who I was on Teaser.
No. But this is, Mark Stein's in the band now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who's, in the band, who's on the album. Norma Jean Bell's in the band. I got her through, I met her through Michael Walden.
Yeah.
Who was in the band at the time.
He's with Jeff Beck now.
Well, he's not with Jeff, no. He just did the album.
Yeah.
Tony Smith, I think, is drumming with Jeff now. But,
He just canceled a gig in Philadelphia here.
Jeff Beck did?
Yeah. Jan Hammer.
Really?
Yeah, it was a bummer.
Yeah, I heard that they're going through some problems, like with, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see, Norma Jean Bells, who was with, she was with Mahavishnu, that's where I first met her.
Yeah.
And the Mothers, and, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, these was basically all kind of like jazz, and they're playing rock on your album.
Yeah, kind of in a way, but not really. I mean, it's like, she's played on so many, well, especially Norma's played on so many sessions. Reggie McBride's played with the Dramatics, the Stylistics, you know, and Stevie Wonder too.
Is that what you're into on your own?
No, not really. I'm just into good players.
Yeah, it's good.
Who else is on the album?
You got Carmine on there.
Carmine's on one cut, yeah, because the drummer that was playing nodded out one night. And Carmine was in.
When did you cut the album? It must have been very secretive.
We cut the album in, wait a minute, when did we cut the album? Private Eyes. In July.
Yeah.
It took about 3 weeks.
I like it.
Well, it took 1 week to cut it and about 2 weeks to mix it.
Yeah. So we're going to be playing one tour, that from Teaser?
Yeah, mainly that, just those two.
Yeah.
From those two albums.
Going to be throwing any stuff from James Gang, like Alexis or anything?
No, I doubt it. I doubt it, because I'm just kind of out to, you know, promote this and hopes that it'll,
I'll tell you, if you threw some of your stuff from them old Gang albums there, Philadelphia Go Crazy.
Yeah, I just did an interview with somebody else, and they were just saying, who knows, you know.
You're a big name here in Philadelphia.
Really?
Uh-huh. People know you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
that's good. Well, actually, wait, that's where I saw, how's the Bijou going? Do you go there very often?
Yeah, Bijou's still thriving. Yeah, they just had Ian Matthews there a couple weeks back.
I think we might do Philadelphia with,
They're doing it with the Outlaws. Yeah, at the Tower Theater.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's a good hall.
Because I'm going to do, we're doing Long Island, and then the night after they're doing New York, and they invited me to come and play a couple tunes in the set with them or something. Yeah. I've never met them. I know their manager very well.
Yeah.
But, in fact, I've never really even heard them.
They're like a southern rock band.
Well, I can hear one.
Yeah. Where'd you pick up your guitar playing at? I mean, you've got a style that's all your own.
Just, I guess, from playing from people like Cobham and Luzon to the James Gang and Purple.
I mean, like, what did you listen to, like, when you were a kid?
Elvis.
Elvis?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Scotty Moore.
Carl Perkins.
Yeah.
Just, you know, a lot of people like that, you know, Caravan of Stars people.
You think you'll be doing a jazz trip like Beck? Yeah.
No.
No, you're going to stay with rock?
No. The thing with Jeff is, like, well, to me, I love Blow by Blow.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a classic, you know. And, that was his first gold album, too.
Right, yeah.
Which really amazed me. But the new one, I think, is a bit too Michael Walden-ish, which is not putting Michael down at all, because he's great. But I think Jeff kind of might have lost a direction, in which way to go. Maybe being that it was his first gold album, Blow by Blow, and didn't really know where to go after that or something.
So you don't see yourself going on a jazz route?
No, I don't read or write, and I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Seriously, I really don't.
I don't either. I play slightly, and I just play for fun.
I just go up and fuck around, man.
You gonna have Jeff Cook with you on vocals or anything?
No, he just is writing lyrics with me. I'm doing all the vocals with Norman and Mark, and Jimmy Haslip's playing bass with me now, and my brother is on drums now.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he in any other bands before this?
That we might know?
Well, with me, but bands that were in between all of the other bands that you might know.
Yeah. You know, you've been in a lot of big bands. If the opportunity comes up again, you're going to join another big established band?
No.
No more? Just Tommy Bolin this time?
Yeah. It's
too much?
Yeah, I'm sick of diving in somebody else's pool.
It happened twice at James.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah. What happened with Deep Purple? You want to talk about that? Or?
Yeah, sure. I
just quietly splintered away?
Quietly removed myself. It was like a managerial thing. It was, they were kind of hassling me with this and that. There was problems with, this and that. Money-wise, it got weird me being American and then being English and then, doing
nothing
this
musical,
and
was
doing
it?
that. And then, but Ian and John have an album coming out, and Glenn has a double album coming out.
He's on the new Trapeze album, too.
Yeah.
He's,
oh, wait, do they have an album?
Yeah, it's out already. He's on 2
so
tracks.
that's who these people were talking about.
Yeah, he's already made his move, I guess.
Because I spent the last week with him. He didn't even mention that to me.
Yeah. Well, he's
kind of strange anyway.
Yeah.
But
you going to be showing up on his solo albums or anything?
I think. Well, he wanted me to play. I was supposed to play on a couple tracks, but he's doing it back in England, and I just don't have the time. So, but he says he's trying to put together a 15-piece soul band or something.
He's got the pipes for it.
Oh, he's an incredible singer.
Yeah.
Incredible. I mean, really incredible. But, who else? David Coverdale is doing an album now. It should be done, in fact, by now. And that should be out probably real soon. So
you've all parted amicably.
It's interesting to see. I'm as interested as anybody to see what they can do.
Yeah. Come Taste the Band was a dynamite album.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I really thought
it rocked pretty well.
I guess it was just a thing where, Purple freaks weren't, I guess it was a bit different than previous,
Well, I think people look at it as you saved them from doing a tailspin immediately. And then they lasted out another maybe 8 months or something.
Well, that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
how do you feel about your constituents, like other guitar players? Like, who do you think is good today?
Well, I admire, Jeff and John McLaughlin, and I don't. It's so hard to say. I mean, like I was just telling this other kid, it's like, it doesn't matter who. You'll hear something like on a Carpenter's thing.
Right.
And I was trying to think of this tune earlier, and I couldn't think of the name of it. It was like a slow tune. At the end, it was an unbelievable guitar thing. It was a great guitar player, and I don't know who in the fuck it was, But, I don't know, now, like, I listen to, I'm influenced not only by guitar players and things that they play, but even by, like flute players or sax players.
Well, you play piano too yourself, don't you?
Yeah. But, I mean, just whatever anybody plays, whatever notes somebody plays, that's kind of what, I listen to. So I really don't go out of my way to listen to guitar players. I don't go out of my way to listen to anything, actually.
Just whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. How'd you feel about Caesar becoming a pretty big smash?
I thought it was great because, on its own merit.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even in the country when it was like, happening, which, maybe I should have been, But I was in the Far East with Purple.
Yeah.
But
I imagine you'll be doing a lot in Caesar and tour.
We're not right now, but because Columbia wants to push Private Eyes a lot. But I'm going to put, I think, tonight, in fact, I'm going to put more back in the set, from Caesar.
Yeah.
Because
it's damn good.
Very special.
Yeah.
I mean, not that the new one is. It's even more special.
Yeah, your new one is like different from. Like Caesar's more rock.
It's more in one direction.
Yeah, you have horns and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Which is it's different. I want every album to be different.
Yeah. What kind of guitar lineup are you gonna have on stage? What are you gonna be playing through?
I'm playing through Sound City bottoms with high watt tops.
Yeah. And your Strat?
I'm using a Strat and an Explorer and a Les Paul.
Really? You play Les Paul?
Yeah.
That's good. Good guy. Yeah. I'm partial to them, that's why.
Yeah, they do sound good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with me, they tend to feedback quite a bit, but...
Yeah, I guess with the Equiplex.
Well, I don't use that so much anymore.
Really?
No. But when I do, it's it's for a purpose, and just, before I was using it just to use it, Now I'm thinking about it more.
Yeah. You going to be doing any political benefits, like a lot of groups doing?
Any political benefits? Yeah, we're supposed to be doing something in the Midwest for some Democratic thing.
Honest to God.
Yeah, I don't even know who it's for.
You don't really care, right?
I just try to stay out of it because it's all, it's total bullshit anyway.
Yeah. It's like,
and we're getting paid for it, so it's got to be total bullshit. Cause in the fact that I don't even know why we're doing it is total bullshit. They probably don't even know who I am and why I'm doing it. It's total bullshit.
Last year they should keep music and politics different because...
Yeah, they should keep it all separate, for somebody to, endorse somebody is...
So the kids will listen?
I mean, for instance, like, at this point, for Greg Allman to endorse, or to back up Carter is like, after what he did with the trial of, the drug bust is...
it's foolhardy.
Yeah, really. It's stupid even for Carter to...
Well, he comes off...
it's all stupid. Everything's stupid, actually, almost.
You feel different about, playing second now to maybe other bands?
Yeah, a lot.
Does it bother you, or just feels different?
Well, it only bothers me when they give me 3 feet to play on, and the monitors aren't exactly what I want, and I don't get to use the right set of lighting that I want, and things like that. There are groups that will let you try to be as artful as possible. But at this point in time, with this band, this is the third concert tonight.
Really?
The first one was was like a festival in Denver, like it was like 45,000 people, and it was like Frampton and Gary Wright and Steve Miller.
Are you getting through to people?
We killed them all,
Really? You getting through?
But it was very good because my manager was promoting, so we got a lot of room, on stage to, perform, which, everybody is entitled to do.
Right.
Or should be entitled to do.
I talked to Marriott a couple months back, and he opened for Leonard Skinner, Steve Marriott.
Yeah.
And he was complaining that he feels that they're not treating him right. And he said when he was with the Tie, he treated other groups just as if they were playing for him.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the same, I think, with the same thing that Purple had. I mean, they, you know, like I was saying to this other cat, you know, you do a time limit thing,
Right.
and if they play 40 minutes, if they're allotted 40 minutes, which is bullshit anyway, if it's a two-group thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you really say in 40 minutes?
You're just getting into it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you walk off stage, and that's it. You leave the kids hanging there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then they turn the house lights on.
Yeah.
Which happened last night, you know.
Really? No encore or nothing.
No, I mean, you know, when kids started applauding and stuff, you know, they turn the house lights on. So, you know, then they start booing, thinking that you are the ones that said, fuck you. So,
It's tragic. What do you open with?
That showcase. Teaser.
Teaser? It's a good song. It's a good song to open with, just to get them rocking.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then we do People, and we alternate between The Grind and a new one off of Private Eye, She Told Me That You Love Me.
Yeah. So you like working with Denny McKay there? He's
Dennis
producing
McKay?
Yeah, McKay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's
I mean, he's the ultimate.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate. I mean, he knows exactly what I want. I know exactly what he wants. We just think exactly the same. It's strange, but you know, I think, well, I think we do really good albums. I mean, sound-wise together.
Yeah. The cover of your album, Private Eyes, the Japanese lettering, does that say anything, or is it just bullshit?
No, it says, it says Tommy Bolin.
Private Eyes.
Private Eyes.
In Japanese, yeah. You into that? The Eastern?
Well, I'm into the chick that was on the cover. No.
Well, okay, I dig that. I thought you were getting into Eastern.
No, I'm just into the chick that's on the cover.
Literally?
I hope she knows.
Yeah.
Well, I am, but she's married or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, the design was thought up by Jimmy Wachtel and Laurie Sullivan. So
I figured because
we were going to originally call it Whips and Roses, and I wanted.
It's eye-catching.
Yeah,
see it in the stores.
Whips and Roses. I mean, because I thought the music was like very. I mean, the whips being the hard stuff, and the roses being the soft mellow stuff.
Right.
Which I thought was very apropos, but everybody thought the title was stupid, so.
Well, it's still eye-catching.
Yeah, I wish I would have said that.
Yeah. So, you'll be in Philadelphia in 2 weeks, according to the schedule here. And I hope to see you there.
Yeah, please try to come, come backstage and,
yeah, I'll try, but you know how, security is. They say, who the hell are you?
When do you think this one might be out?
It'll be out next week, the week before you get here.
Oh, great. Can you save me about 10 copies?
Sure.
So I can send home to Mom and all that?
Okay. Still in Boulder, Colorado?
I'm living in Beverly Hills now. From Boulder to Beverly.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a message here. Stu Green says hello, if you remember.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I'm good friends with Stu.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Tell him he better line up some schnoo.
Yeah, he's got a lot of trouble in Philadelphia. He can't kind of get started.
Really?
Yeah, there's 2 concert promoters.
Well, listen, if you know of any schnoo when I get there...
Okay.
Could you make sure I get it?
Yeah.
And whatever that, as long as it's really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Don't put that in there.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, right.
All right.
Unless you want to.
No.
No, don't.
Don't think we're
Make
both,
sure I leave time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'll see you later.
Thanks
Tell
a lot.
everybody I said hi, especially Stuart.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
A little less than 3 months after this interview, Tommy died tragically in a Miami hotel room. Even though his career lasted only 7 short years, his influence can still be felt. He was way ahead of his time, and guitar players of today are just catching up to what Tommy did 15 and 16 years ago. I hope you enjoyed this piece of my own personal rock history, and Tommy, if you're listening out there somewhere, thanks. Thanks for all the great music. This is Art Connor, October 20th, 1990.
On one of the biographies we have, there's a quote which says, "The big thing with my solo trip is that it revolves around my music, and I can do what I want with it." And the first question is, what do you call your music, as opposed to...
Well, like with where I think they just should have said, forget it, and we'll just start a whole new band.
How do you feel about your new album, let's say, compared to Teaser? Do you really appreciate, do you really think what you wanted to do better?
It's the Teaser album was like, I just tried to do everything I could do, from like playing with Cobham to playing with the James Gang to playing with Purple to playing with, and just cram them all into one album, where this is like my group, and it's more special, I think it's just more in one direction, whereas Teaser was like from marching powder to
the grind.
to the grind to Dreamer, we're like,
Or Savannah Woman.
Or Savannah Woman, we're like really different. Whereas with this album, like, which one is it? Gypsy Soul, which is like really soft and,
How about,
to like Post Toasty, is like, it's totally different, but it's all in one direction. Because I used like one band to do it.
Yeah, one question we were thinking about is, how did you go about choosing, your Teaser band, your Private Eyes band? Yeah,
well,
something in mind.
The Teaser band was like a lot of people I knew from the rock world and the jazz world, and I just tried to cram them all on one record, like with Sanborn and Jan Hammer and...
What do you look for when you produce an album, especially like the two solo ones? You're a co-producer to some extent, and before we were talking about, you even mix your own albums.
I like very bright, to get everything as bright and clear and unmuddy, as possible. I'm into. Well, maybe it's instead of just coming out and blowing your cookies, going, I like little interesting things in like every tune, And if I'll have to get a decent stereo myself so I can hear what I'm doing.
As far as I know, the first band you recorded with was Zephyr, and that's like back in '69 or
legally, yeah.
Legally. And what was your background before the first recording, music-wise, and for that matter, what's your origins go back to?
Well, from when I got to, originally I'm from Iowa. I was born in Iowa, Sioux City. And when I turned 16, I got thrown out of high school. And I had to go somewhere to play because, I tried to take, like, music in school. And it was offered, like, every other year. And, from from when I was like 4 or 5, I used to do, Elvis pantomimes, and stuff. And my father used to just take me to see Bill Haley and Elvis and Johnny Cash and what were those things called that traveled around the Midwest? The Dick Clark shows. No. Caravan of Stars, right? To see Gene Pitney and this and that. So, I was, all my life, I've been totally, listening to about everything. Because if you're on the East Coast, you tend to listen to this. Or if you're on the West Coast, you tend to listen to that. Or if you're from San Francisco, you listen to the Dead. Or if you're L.A., you listen to da-da-da. But if you're stuck in Iowa, you got a choice, So that was lucky. But at that time, I moved to Denver and started Zephyr. And it was weird with the band because we were together about a month. And after about a month, I mean, we really didn't know each other that well, After like a month, we were playing the Avalon and the Fillmore. And, it started on, the group started off like at the top and just took a nosedive.
How did you get involved with Cobham? I heard that he heard you, but exactly,
well,
what sort of mechanical process? What?
Oh, well, okay. I'll give you a real brief rundown. After Zephyr, after I left Zephyr, I was playing with a cat in New York, Jeremy Steig, with Kenny Passarelli, who's with Elton John now, Eddie Gomez, who's with Bill Evans, Marty Morell, and through him, I met a lot of jazz people. So after that, I went back to Colorado after we did that demo and got a group called Energy, who was, Kenny Passarelli was in it also, who was with Elton John. It was a beautiful group because everybody was doing something, Tom Stevenson, who's with Gary Wright now. Stanley Sheldon, who's playing bass with Frampton. Who else is in the group?
Jeff, who writes a lot.
Yeah, Jeff Cook, who was singing lead, who writes a lot with me now. So nobody got left behind. We would pack the beer parlors, but we would attract the non-beer people.
The inhalers.
People that would, the inhalers, right? So the people would say, "You're fired." I said, "Why? The place is packed." And they say, "Well, they're not dancing. If they don't dance, they don't sweat. If they don't sweat, they don't drink beer." Cobham did the album on Monday and Tuesday. And it's very artistic. What he wanted to do was get across to the people, and yet get across to the artists too, and still remain in art form. And I think he, accomplished that, at least with that album.
I'd always thought the opening
was me.
Was you?
Yes, and that's like Rolling Stone did an interview of the album, or did a review of the album, and because of that, he was playing with John at the time. So it was like, he was, I got, to me, I don't play anything like John. And because of that solo, I got a review saying he sounds just like John. So on the, I got stuck with saying, this is another John McLaughlin copycat sort of person, which really, I kind of was insulted by. I mean, I would love to play like he plays, but we played completely different.
That's Marching Powder from the teaser album. Next we have a piece from Alphonse Mouzon's Mind Transplant album entitled Carbon Dioxide. How did Joe Walsh stumble upon you?
In Boulder, Colorado. He called me up and asked if I knew of any bass players. And then I told him about Kenny, because Kenny was in Vancouver at the time, Pastorelli. He was in Vancouver at the time playing, but he was going kind of cuckoo, actually. And he was going to quit playing. And I kind of talked him out of that, and then came down and auditioned for Joe. And so we would jam, you know. I lived like about a mile from it. So we'd go over and jam, you know, a couple of times, and that's kind of how we stumbled upon each other.
And then fate took its course for 2 albums worth.
Yes, and God bless him.
I came up with a thing called Your Toy. It's that device I saw you in concert with, where you make your strings oscillate.
Oh yeah.
And then when I really started finding more about you, I went back into Zephyr. You were doing it back then.
Yeah.
And
what is it?
and even on the James Gang, there was a bit of it.
It's just a lot of people are using it now, but I was using it like 7 years ago. It's Echoplex.
What's that?
That's all it is, you know. But it's weird how we wrote that song, because I was just goofing around on the bass, and actually Glenn doesn't even play on the track on that one in particular. But me and Ian were just fooling around one day, and we did. He started a drum beat, and I just started goofed around on bass, and that's how that song came about.
We were talking about the percussion before, and it also appears on a lot of intricacies on the Purple album, and like on Getting Tighter, for example, when you go into the really funky.
The funk.
The percussion.
That's an incredible funky thing. I mean, not saying English bands can't be funky, but you never really hear a funky English band. The average white band is funky. But to me that's incredibly funky. I mean, as funky as something like the Meters would do, or anybody like that. To me, that's equally as funky. They called me up and they said, "Do you want to come down?" And I've read articles where, David said that he heard Spectrum and tried to get a hold of me, and Glenn heard this and tried to get a hold of me, and John heard this and tried to get a hold of me, and whatever. And even Richie goes, I'm glad I turned him on to you, So but like I said, it was Cat Nikki Bell who was one of the roadies who, called me up. And I tried not to, because this was like, I had just signed, to do Teaser. So I just really wasn't into any other project. So when they called up, I was trying to figure out a way to, kind of remove myself from the idea of the matter. Because at that point, it was like I didn't want to play with like an English type band, I didn't know if I could play with an English type band. But like I went down and I didn't know how to set up any of my equipment, because I haven't set it up for so long, So I had this box with all these plugs, and I couldn't figure out how to, So I just, plugged straight in and just played straight, and we played for about 5 minutes, and they said, "You want to be in the band?" I said, "How much does it pay?" And they sent me the bill afterwards.